This is what he said to the actor. I said, "Oh, oh, oh." So now we got in this big fight for 20. I called him every night. He didn't know. And I got dizzy. He's not here to be nice. Robert Duvall doesn't put up with silly people, and he definitely doesn't give second chances. Compared to the days when he was really famous, I guess, like during the Wild Bunch and everything, but it was okay. For more than 50 years. Duvall's been Hollywood's guy who tells the truth. Whether he's playing a mafia helper or a sad country singer, one thing never changes. He wants things to be real. And when someone doesn't pass that test, he doesn't yell. He doesn't write mean tweets. He just closes the door forever. From The Godfather to Apocalypse Now, Duvall's movies are amazing. But his rules are even tougher than his acting. If the friendship feels wrong, if someone's ego is too big, if the work isn't pure, he'll walk away quietly forever. He's not your nice Hollywood guy. He's the guy who really means it when he says that's it. Bet he didn't know what it was, but he was. He was out to get it. So he trusts these actors. He's worked with really famous people. Brando, Hackman, Dyro, Cruise. But even with legendary actors, Duvall's kept his own list. Here are 6 actors. Robert Duvall shut out of his world for good. Stay till the end because the last name on this list might just surprise you the most. Number 1, John Wayne. On the set of True Grit, things didn't just get tense. They almost got into a real fight. Robert Duvall was still new in his career, but already known for pushing directors, testing limits, and refusing to be nice with Hollywood royalty. And that's exactly what John Wayne expected. Respect, following orders, and staying quiet. Duvall didn't give any of it. From day one, sparks flew. Duvall asked questions about directions. He challenged how lines should be. Said he refused to just play the scene. To some people, it was brave. To Wayne, it was being rude. The anger got worse when Wayne reportedly told him straight out that if he didn't stop pushing the director, he'd punch him out right there on set. It wasn't just talk. Wayne's crew believed it. Even Duvall later said he was walking a dangerous line, but here's the twist. Duvall didn't back down. He finished the movie, did a good job acting, and walked away. No sorry, no press drama. But what happened after said everything? They never worked together again. No more movies together, no. Making up, just silence. For Duvall, it wasn't personal. It was about the work. But for Wayne, who saw set rules as holy, Duvall's refusal to know his place crossed the line. In a business that works on people working together, these 2 famous people, both stubborn, both brilliant, just couldn't be in the same place. One wanted obedience. The other wanted freedom. Neither gave in. Number 2, Henry Hathaway. Henry Hathaway was a Hollywood old-timer, gruff, old school, and really protective of his director power. Robert Duvall was still climbing up when they worked together. But even then, he wasn't the type to stay quiet, and that's exactly where the trouble started. The fight wasn't explosive. It was sharp, never-ending, and really personal. Hathaway was used to making every decision on set, no questions asked. Duvall, trained in method acting and committed to real emotions, fought back. He questioned reasons. He suggested script changes. He wanted to do scenes over that Hathaway didn't see the point of. Their creative ideas couldn't have been more different. Hathaway wanted things done right and fast. Duvall wanted deep meaning and discovery. On paper, they were trying to make the same movie. In reality, they were making 2 totally different ones. The tension got so bad that according to crew reports, Hathaway walked off set twice, not storming out in anger, but with the quiet frustration of a man who felt his power slipping away. Duvall didn't shout. He didn't fight. He just stood his ground, careful, unwavering, and completely unbothered by Hathaway's higher rank. Years later, Duvall was asked about what happened. He shrugged. Not everyone knows how to work with actors. No more explanation, no names. But the message was clear. They never worked together again. No reunions, no making up. And in a business built on working together, sometimes the worst thing isn't what's said, it's who you refuse to say anything to ever again. Number 3, Bruce Beresford. When Tender Mercies was announced, it had all the parts of a fancy drama. A quiet southern story, a struggling country singer, and Robert Duvall in the main role. But behind the camera, things weren't so calm. Director Bruce Beresford had his own idea. Clean, simple, and emotionally quiet. Duvall, on the other hand, wanted more roughness, more detail, more space to explore the character's pain from the over. Inside out. And that meant long scenes, unscripted moments, and input on almost every scene. The creative tension built slowly, not with shouting matches, but with long silences, staring contests, and sneaky power moves. Beresford would plan a scene. Duvall would change it. The director would set a speed. Duvall would slow it down. At first, it was a tug-of-war. Eventually, it became a standstill. Crew members remembered days where nothing was filmed, just quiet arguments over tone and meaning. One assistant said Beresford once left the set mid-shoot, mumbling that he wasn't directing this film anymore. Duvall never raised his voice. He didn't have to. His presence on set was enough to tip the balance. Ironically, Tender Mercies would go on to win Duvall his first Oscar, but Beresford didn't ride the same wave. He was mostly pushed aside during the film's press run, barely mentioned during award season. Duvall got the glory. Beresford faded into the background. Years later, when asked about what happened, Duvall simply said, "The story worked." That's what matters. No mention of the director. None needed. Number 4, Gene Hackman. On paper, Robert Duvall and Gene Hackman should have been a perfect match. Two of the greatest American actors of their time, both cut from the same cloth. Tough, no nonsense, and really committed. But in real life, that friendship never happened. Their tension quietly grew for decades. Though they never shared many scenes, they went after the same roles, the same directors, and the same kind of rough, manly dramas. When they finally appeared in The Duel, 1971, people on set noticed the mood change. No shouting, no fights, just coldness. Duvall, famously sharp with his words off camera, once called Hackman an actor's enemy, a man too proud, too loud, and impossible to work with. Hackman, for his part, never fought back directly. But during a panel interview, when asked which actors he avoided, Hackman smiled and replied, "The ones who think they're directors, too." That one hurt, because Duvall always walked a line between actor and storyteller, constantly giving notes, changing dialogue, and fighting with directors over blocking and delivery. To someone like Hackman, that wasn't working together. It was taking control. From that point on, any hope of making up disappeared. Even as both men got older and became respected elder actors, they were never seen together again. No shared tributes. No reunions, nothing. Some people, Duvall once said, just don't know when to shut up and let the work speak. And everyone listening knew exactly who he meant. Number 5, Stanley Kubrick. Stanley Kubrick demanded perfection. Robert Duvall demanded freedom. That mix explosive. Though Duvall never acted in a Kubrick film, the friction still found them. During the making of The Shining, Duvall was famously outspoken about the way Kubrick treated Shelley Duvall. No relation, but close enough to make him angry. Watching from far away, Duvall didn't hold back his words. That wasn't directing, he told a journalist years later. That was being mean, hiding behind genius. But the real fight came behind the scenes of a possible working together in the early 80s. Kubrick reportedly asked Duvall for a project that never happened. And while details remain unclear, what's clear is that the meeting didn't end well. Duvall walked out. Too cold, too slow, too much control, he later said of Kubrick's way of working. Movies shouldn't feel like surgery. That line stuck, especially since Kubrick's fans were proud of that surgical precision. For Duvall, that kind of control killed instinct, the very thing he believed great acting was built on. And for Kubrick, who famously did 127 takes of a single scene, Duvall's fighting back felt like rebellion. The two never spoke publicly about each other again. No praise, no apologies, just distance. He was a genius, sure, Duvall admitted, but I never wanted to be one of his test subjects. In a business where big egos can get along, sometimes two artists are just too opposite to breathe the same air. Number 6, Robert Altman. Robert Altman loved on chaos, making things up as he went, overlapping dialogue, wide roaming shots. His films were jazz on screen. But for Robert Duvall, that kind of freedom didn't feel like art. It felt like an ambush. Their fight came during Maccabee and Mrs. Miller, 1971, a visually stunning, mood-driven Western where Altman wanted atmosphere over structure. But Duvall, he wanted clarity. He memorized scripts, shaped scenes with purpose, and hated unpredictability. From day one, the friction was visible. Duvall would stick to the page. Altman would tell other actors to ignore it. The result? Tension thick enough to choke on. According to crew members, Duvall grew increasingly annoyed by Altman's laid-back directing style. He was reportedly overheard calling the set a playground with no rules, and at one point even stormed off after a particularly loose take went off script. Altman, never want to bow to an actor's ego, doubled down, giving even more control.